Warren, they've had a
I know what Sapp is saying. Yes, the officials are saying, get back in your side. I know what Sapp is saying, though, that he can catch him, that Brett Favre can't run away from him. Watch Sapp here. I mean, he is quick. I mean, he takes this guy, he gets by there, and he chases Brett Favre down. Then he goes for the ball. Then he keeps going for Brett. And then finally, Brad Culpepper gets in to finish the deal.
Brings up second and long.
But old Sapp was hunting on that play.
Pass is incomplete. Hit Brooks in the foot.
I think Favre is a little tired there after watch this, he changes hands with the ball. See, he's trying to get away from Sapp. Sapp is going for the strip, and had he left it in the right hand, I think Warren Sapp would have stripped that ball on that play before.
I think Favre put that shirt on that Sapp's got right there on at the half. He didn't have that on the first half.
Well, it didn't help him throw that last ball. He threw what you call a drop ball. It hit
Brooks in the foot.
Right in the foot. High ball drinker, low ball thrower.
He has time this time. Steps up and fires, and the pass is caught by Derrick Mays. A diving catch by Mays. He got it.
Well, that's that area that we were talking about in these zones, and that's the area that the Packers have really had success with, is hitting that middle area. Brett Favre is a real warrior. I mean, he just hangs in there, and you know that if you're going to throw the ball, you have to block Warren Sapp. So now they're doubling. They got Frank Winters blocking him, Taylor blocking him, and then Dorsey Levens coming in as a third guy, because they know that if they can get the pass protection, they can get the ball into the middle. That time it was Derrick Mays.
That's going to be the end of the third quarter. Warren Sapp is really fired up. The end of the third quarter with the score: Green Bay 13, Tampa Bay 7. This NFC Divisional playoff game on Fox will continue after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. It's on the move.
You know, if it's a game, it should be fun. If it's fun, it should be like this. And those are two warriors going after each other. You know, Brett Favre knowing that he has to get rid of the ball before Warren Sapp gets there, and Sapp knowing that the guy that he's hunting today is Brett Favre, but they both have a great deal of respect for each other.
And the great players do indeed step up in the big games. Levens, he's breaking tackles on Dorsey. Levens, wow.
As I think Dorsey Levens gets stronger and stronger as he goes. Well, you can say that, you know, that the Tampa Bay Buccaneer tackling isn't as good, or you can say that Dorsey Levens is running harder.
I think you can say both.
And I think both would probably be true. Because in the first half, he wasn't able to do things like this. In fact, he hasn't been able to do things like this against Tampa Bay in the other two games they played. But now they're getting some good blocking in there, and some missed tackling, and some good running.
First and goal at the 7. Favre gives to Levens. Levens hammers down to about the 1.
You know, one thing you have to mention here, when you see this Buccaneer team not tackling like they are, there's one of their best tacklers right here, John Lynch, who's on the sideline. John Lynch is that, you know, strong safety who plays like a linebacker and makes a lot of plays. Now Melvin Johnson and Charles Mincy are the two safeties.
Lynch has a sprained knee. It's at the 2-yard line. Second down. Touchdown.
He had one there. He had Charles Mincy in the hole.
Yep.
You can get 8 men up, and you can get 9 men up, and you leave one. Dorsey Levens took him. The extra guy was Charles Mincy. Dorsey Levens said, "I'll just take him," and he ran right over him. Going to be in the left side, and you're going to see Mincy's going to come up right here, and you're going to see right there in the hole. He has him in the hole, and Dorsey Levens just runs right over him.
And bounced into the end zone.
Again, a lot of that drive was was good running by Dorsey Levens, but it was also some very poor tackling by Tampa Bay.
A quick timeout called by Green Bay. Could they be thinking about going for 2? Possible, I guess.
Official beer sponsor of the NFL. And by Snickers. Not going anywhere for a while? Grab a Snickers. Hungry? Why wait?
Back at Lambeau Field, 19-7, and the Packers are going to go for 2. They're 1 out of 2 in their 2-point attempts. Teams have gone for 2 against the Bucs 4 times. 4 times they've been successful. Nobody to run it.
4 wide receivers, 1 tight end, quarterback draw.
Had to be. They spread them out.
Yep, so you say there's no one in the backfield that can't run it. Well, there's only one guy in the backfield. That's a quarterback. So if he's going to run, he has to be the guy to run it. And lo and behold, he was.
And he's laughing. 21-7 Green Bay. Points.
Yep, here's the old trick. You spread them out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 receivers. No one back here. So if you are going to run the ball, there's only one guy that can run it. Watch the block Frank Winters gets here. Right there. Brett Favre makes a cutback. And watch this stuff. Well, that's the old Uncle Rube stuff. Uncle Rube always says when you go to hit the crossbar, always come up short.
Yeah.
Never get it all the way up to the crossbar. Because then they'll expect too much of you.
Well, so we don't expect him to slam dunk it. That's Anthony. The Buccaneers knocked out of bounds. Well out of the bounds. At the 40, where the Bucs take over.
But just now, if he could get up there, he would be so proud of himself if he could touch that bar.
He'd do it every week.
I know it. But he got up there, because he really thinks he's a good athlete.
You got to jump.
Yeah, Robert Brooks is saying, hey, you got to jump. Look, he showed him how you have to do it.
Alan Shirt weighed him down.
No, but it's just like he said. He was talking about when he gets a birdie in golf, someone says, hey, you ain't that good. He says, I know it.
There's Dilfer. Throws it intended for Dunn. Incomplete.
Sometimes he says he does stuff in football. You know, I mean, just get the ball in there. Guys say, you ain't that good. He said, I know it. And then when he went to stuff it on the bar, he proved that he ain't that good. But I'll tell you one thing, he does have fun.
Yes, he does.
I mean, if everyone can learn one thing, I think, from Brett Favre is, again, that it's a game, and if it's a game, it should be fun, and doggone, he has fun.
There is some mischief in those eyes.
There's a heck of a whole lot of mischief.
Yeah. Hape moves in motion, and the handoff is to Warwick Dunn. Dunn to about a 9-yard gain right now for a look at the playoff history. Let's go down to James Brown for a McDonald's game break.
Pat and John, the 1979 NFC Divisional Playoffs. Buccaneers defense setting the tone early, abusing Eagles quarterback Ron Jaworski. On the offense, Ricky Bell had 2 touchdowns, 142 yards as the Buccaneers pick up their very first playoff win.
Different Buccaneer uniforms. Different Buccaneers. Dilfer, incomplete.
You know, there's that pass again that I don't understand, Pat. They block the tackle down. They have Warwick Dunn that blocked the end, Reggie White, and they throw a slant to that side.
Incomplete.
Now, watch how they do this. Here's Reggie White. Now, Warwick Dunn is going to have to block him, and then they're going to throw the ball to that side.
Reggie might not have slam dunked it either.
No, Reggie came up short on that deal.
They're going for it on 4th down. 4th and 3. Doesn't look like quite that long, but they are indeed going for it. Copeland was the man in motion. Dilfer back to throw. Up the middle, incomplete. And Green Bay takes over, but there's a flag on the play. Intended for Moore, the tight end, but the penalty marker down. Might keep this drive alive.
And it's going to be against the Packers.
Pass interference, 41. Defense, first down.
Against Eugene Robinson.
You see Copeland is going to come underneath, and you see Moore's going up to the top, and there's Robinson there, and he just gets there before the ball.
Just mistimed it. First down, Tampa Bay at the Green Bay 44. The handoff is to Dunn. He gets a yard, maybe. Santana Dotson, an ex-Buccaneer.
Yeah, we talked about that thing. Here's 2 times. This is the second time that Warwick Dunn had a block a big guy there. It was on Gilbert Brown, and there was on Reggie White. And
Gilbert just sort of looked back like, what was that?
That was some gnat hit me in the knee.
11:58 left to play.
But Warwick Dunn is a complete player. He's an every down player. He's not one of those third down specialists.
That's one of the questions they had about him. Was he durable enough? Green Bay showing blitz. Dilfer changing the play. Clock running down. Got to hurry. Gets away with a second to go. Dilfer. Incomplete. Intended for Moore again. Brings up a big 3rd and long situation.
Yeah, Dave Moore has really become his go-to guy in this game, because we know that Green Bay has found some openings in that middle, and Dilfer on a few of his completions has found some things in that middle to his tight end Dave Moore.
This game's presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Packers and the NFL is prohibited. 3rd and long. And the handoff on the draw play is to Warwick Dunn. He gets about 8 yards before Darren Sharper brings him down.
And I think Tony Dungy has already decided to go for it on 4th down, because when you run a draw on 3rd and long, what you're trying to do is create a 4th and shorter situation so you can complete a 4-yard pass for a 1st down. So I think when he ran that draw, he wasn't thinking in terms of 1 play. He was thinking in terms of 2 plays, 3rd and 4th.
And it's 4th and 4 as the crowd at Lambeau gets to its feet. And they start to roar. Blitz coming. Dilfer behind the intended target, Horace Copeland. And Green Bay takes over. 21-7, Green Bay leading. Coming up here on Fox, and there's got to be more to that play than what's diagrammed there.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even have a quarterback in there, and not enough defensive players, not enough up.
Would anybody on the All-Madden team wearing dark glasses make it?
No, or have that look. That doesn't have a chance.
11 pounds away for about 5 over the Green Bay right side.
I think that's what Green Bay wants to do now, is just pound away. That's when you can tell when it's cold weather, when you have to wear some other hats under your cheese hat, because in nice weather your basic cheese hat becomes your basic hat, and then in cold weather then you need a couple layers of hats underneath your cheese head.
And if you have to make a quick escape, you wear a hat like that, not that one.
And you know, one of the other things they wear here that I got a pair of and I haven't figured out how to put on is mucklucks. Mucklucks are things you wear in your feet.
Levens squirmed out of what appeared to be a loss of about a yard and picked up a first.
And I think that was really a turning point in this game, and it was what Mike Holmgren talked about at halftime, that the Green Bay Packers had to be able to run more. Now, whether the turning point was Dorsey Levens running, now he has over 100 yards, or it was the Tampa Bay poor tackling, or the combination of both, I think those things were the turning point in this game in the second half.
And talking to Tony Dungy, he said, we have to tackle well. And either Levens has gotten stronger, which he does. This is Henderson, hit by Nickerson. Henderson. He drags him a couple of yards.
And the Green Bay Packers are winning all the battles now. I mean, you know, when the running back runs in there and gets hit and goes 2 or 3 more yards after he's hit, they're winning that battle. Now they're starting to win the battles in the offensive line. And of course, the one guy on Tampa Bay that they really haven't calmed down yet is Warren Sapp. Brent Dilfer's had a tough day today.
He really has.
He's only completed 6 passes.
The one long one to Anthony that set up the touchdown. 2nd and 6. Levens is the deep back. He gets the carry. 11 pounds for about 3. Today's game is being produced by Bob Stenner, directed by Sandy Grossman. Replay producer is Peter J. Macheska. Associate director is Mike Roy. Broadcast associates are Fran Morrison and Charles McDonald. Technical producer is Bob Muller. Studio was produced by Scott Ackerson and directed by Bob Levy. Senior producers Bill Brown, and the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill, both of whom are in attendance.
You know, most of the people that you talked about were in attendance today. Like you said, those are the 2 things that happen: intensity and that.
Pass to Freeman from Favre. A strike.
3rd down, needed that for a 1st down to keep this clock going. And does Brett Favre throw a strike in there?
Does he ever? The 49ers await the winner of this contest at Lambeau.
And the 49ers are waiting now. I told you I talked to Steve Mariucci, the 49er coach, at halftime, and they were going over yesterday's game film, and they're going to meet with their players. Their players are meeting today when this game's over.
And you'll be headed via bus for San Francisco for home.
Be en route, Highway 80.
11. Burrows underneath for maybe a yard. We're all headed for San Francisco by different means of transportation. The playoff picture: Tampa Bay advanced with that victory over Detroit. Looks like Green Bay is going to advance. Minnesota lost to San Francisco, meaning that one more time no team that plays in a dome has ever made it.
Yeah, that's the thing. No team that's ever played in a dome, like you said, has never won the Super Bowl. And as you said, no team that plays in a dome has ever made it to a Super Bowl.
Levens again. Heads outside, tripped up by Derrick Brooks.
You know, and
the Buccaneers, excuse me.
The other thing, you know, we talk about the urgency and the finality here. There are 12 teams that go into the playoffs. And of those 12 teams, only 1 team is going to win their last game. Yep. And 11 others have to live with it for the entire offseason until August. And that is tough. I mean, you know, getting there is big. Playing in these games is big and great. But I tell you, there is no losing that is tougher than losing a playoff game and that being your final game.
3rd and long. 3rd and 13. They're 5 out of 12 on 3rd down. Favre drops. Buccaneers blitz. And a pass is picked off by Donnie Abraham. That's his 2nd of the day interception.
Yeah, there's a guy that's really played well for the Buccaneers these last couple of weeks. He played well last week against Detroit. He's playing well today. You see the rush here again. Hardy Nickerson is just there where Brett Favre can't step up and throw and get everything on it to Robert Brooks. But Donnie Abraham had great coverage.
Madden back at Lambeau Field where the Packers lead the Bucs 21-7. Buccaneers have the ball at their own 20 after the interception by Abraham, his 2nd of the day. Dilfer back to throw it. Outside to Dunn. Warwick Dunn gets the 1st down for Tampa Bay.
Fritz Shurmur continues to mix up these defenses. You know, he's playing that 3-man line. He calls it his 3-3 dime. 3 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, 6 defensive backs.
Too deep this time as they blitz Dilfer. He just does get rid of it, but he does. And the pass is caught by Copeland, but he got out of bounds.
Yeah, again, that was Keith McKenzie coming from the backside along with Leroy Butler. He had the whole thing coming from back there.
I haven't quite yet figured out when he wants to be called Leroy and when he wants to be Leroy.
I don't know. You know, he says he wants to be called Leroy, but then sometimes he calls himself Leroy.
Himself, yeah.
Remember when he said Brad Johnson when he was doing the Minnesota game? He says, tell Brad Johnson that Leroy says hello. I said, I thought you were Leroy. He said, well, to Brad Johnson, I'm Leroy.
They won't allow it. Here's Dilfer. Steps up in the pocket, brings it down, fires. Warrick Dunn gets into Green Bay territory. Dilfer did a good job scrambling away from the pressure.
Yeah, usually when Warrick Dunn comes out of the backfield, they have a safety on him. And Eugene Robinson has been doing a pretty good job. He did a real good job earlier in the game on Warrick Dunn. That time he was on there, and Dilfer just made a good throw in there to him.
Trent Dilfer hurrying things up now with 4:50 left. And Green Bay leading Tampa Bay by 21-7. First down. Quick slant. Goes to Rob Thomas, who stays on his feet. Anthony was waiting for a lateral, I think.
Yeah, well, it's not that point. We're still
No.
with 4:27 left. You're down 2 touchdowns. They're going to hurry up offense, but they have to think they need a touchdown, and they need an onside kick, and then another touchdown.
That's a lot of needs. Dilfer's incomplete, intended for Anthony.
You know, Rob Thomas has come up with some
Yes,
big
he has.
plays for this Buccaneer team, and I was talking to him yesterday about his dad, Aaron Thomas.
Yep.
Played for the New York Giants. In fact, his dad came to the Giants a year after you left and took your number, didn't he?
Well, he wore the same number.
Well, no, he was number 8. You were number 88.
Yes.
And 61 for the Giants.
Right.
And he said his dad came in 62, Aaron Thomas, and
Right.
he was number 88
That
for the
is
Giants.
correct. That is correct. The only thing, he could move it a little bit faster than I could. Dilfer got a man. It's Rob Thomas. The ball goes out of bounds.
They feel confident in Rob Thomas, especially, you know, with Copeland and with Anthony. They kind of like to keep them outside as split receivers, and then when they need a 3rd or 4th wide receiver, when they need a slot guy, they like to put Rob Thomas and have him be their slot guy.
Amazing how much he looks like his father. Dilfer 9 out of 30, 1 interception, 174 yards.
His father was bigger than him, wasn't he?
Yes, taller. Third and 10. The protection starts to break, and Dilfer is going down by McKenzie, and McKenzie has put some pressure on.
The first guy there was Seth Joyner.
Yeah, he had an assist.
You know, we talk about that 3-3 that they're in. Here's the 3-man line, and then now Joyner becomes a 4th guy, and he becomes a rush guy. And he was the first guy that gets there. And sometimes he rushes from the inside. That time he was outside, but took an inside rush. He was the first guy. See, he's the guy that made Trent Dilfer take the ball down.
And he couldn't get rid of it.
And
So
Keith McKenzie came in and finished them off.
4th down and 25. And the Packers rush just 3, and Dilfer's throwing it up for grabs into the end zone. All incomplete. I don't think anybody came down with it, and the Packers should take over. Horace Copeland down there, high C in the middle of that.
Gene Robinson's still down there in the end zone. He's talking with the fans down there. When I went to practice the other day, I had never seen a player so fired up as Eugene Robinson was in practice.
He's been around a long time.
I know. Well, he's one of those guys who's been playing for 13 years, played for years at Seattle, and got a taste of winning a championship and a Super Bowl a year ago, and doesn't know how many years he's going to play, but he wants to taste it again.
The way he's playing, he can play for a long time. Trent Dilfer
Yeah, I think, that's just the frustration. It's been that kind of day for Trent Dilfer. He wasn't able to get into any kind of passing groove at all. And, if you say in what area the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have to improve, I think it's that area. The passing game, getting receivers, getting open, catching the ball, hitting them, those things.
Dorsey Levin. For about 5.
Dorsey Levens this year has just become a machine, hasn't he?
He really has.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought, they thought that he was kind of a backup guy and a receiver and those kinds of things.
Wasn't durable enough, maybe?
Well, they didn't know. And Mike Holmgren said, I said, has Dorsey Levens really surprised you? And he said, yeah, he surprised me how durable he is.
This is a Tampa Bay timeout. Isn't Dorsey Levens going to be a free agent?
Yes, he is a free agent. I mean, yes, he will be a free agent at the end of this season. That's something there. Like you look like you had a puncture wound there.
Like you just had a vaccination. You used to have like when you were in grammar school.
Yeah, like you're running, and someone punctures you.
23 carries, 112 yards. And he is already, as he broke Jim Taylor's regular season game rushing record back against Dallas. Levin's total today is a new Packer playoff rushing record, which had been held by Edgar Bennett. So, yes.
Warwick Dunn there in his rookie year, offensive rookie of the year.
Outstanding. Levens.
Well, what Dorsey Levens is doing now, he's afraid to make one of those outside cuts because he doesn't want to go out of bounds to stop the clock. He wants to stay in bounds and make the Buccaneers use their timeouts, but not give them a free one by running out of bounds.
Next week we'll be in San Francisco and watch Steve Young dance.
Look at his eyes, how serious he is. Steve Young takes everything so seriously. He's even trying to have fun with the dance.
Look at Brent Jones laughing at what's going on behind me.
Oh, but did you see how sincere Steve Young was? Look at, boy, I got to get this down.
Postseason history between those two is Green Bay 27, 49ers 17. That was a big upset. And last year, 35-14.
So they know about the Green Bay Packers. And, of course, Steve Mariucci, now the head coach of the 49ers, was an assistant here with these Packers, and he was Brett Favre's quarterback coach.
For 4 years. Here's Levens again. And stopped at midfield. That'll bring up 4th down, and the Packers will punt it away. Tampa Bay, meanwhile, has 1 timeout left. Warren Sapp, he's had a heck of a day.
You know what he said? He was saying the other day, he said, isn't this something? He said you get to play a kid's game and get paid a king's ransom. He said you can't beat that.
Yeah. New York Undercover is back. It's an all-new team taking on cases cops won't handle. In a world this dangerous, one mistake can get you killed. Catch the season premiere of New York Undercover Thursday at 9, 8 Central on Fox. You may have to watch that. Just don't want to make any mistakes.
Clock is running.
Craig Hentrick back to punt to Riddell Anthony.
Anthony, the position.
2:58 left to play, and here's Craig Hentrick. Anthony is getting away from it, and the Packers are going to down it. Travis Jervey was the first man down who batted it backwards. The architect, along with Mike Holmgren, of the Packers' success story, the executive vice president and general manager Ron Wolf, an old buddy of yours.
Well, yeah, I was with Ron Wolf for 12 years with the Oakland Raiders, and he's one of the top people in this game. He's one of the top people that I've ever known. I mean, he's a brilliant guy, and he knows how to put a team together, and he knows talent. And, of course, getting this guy. When Ron Wolf came here and got Brett Favre, that was a big move.
That's a pretty good milestone right there.
Yeah, when you take the difference in these games or in these teams, Brett Favre is so big in that thing. I mean, he's the MVP of the league, of course, co-MVP this year, but 3 years in a row.
What a building block. Dilfer out of the end zone to Copeland.
We looked at Travis Jervey the last time or the time before when he was double teamed. Now you watch him here, and again, he made the Pro Bowl. Now, if you don't leave anyone on him, you see the difference? They were going for the block that time. So if you have 2 guys on him, he's not going to get down there. If you don't put anyone on him, he's one of the fastest guys on this team. He'll be the first guy down there.
Dilfer back. 3-man rush. Pass dropped by Copeland.
I think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have just been frustrated today. That they could have gotten a little running going, but they just couldn't get any passing going. I mean, they didn't have anything that was there. I mean, they hit their tight end Dave Moore a few times in the middle, but other than that, they haven't gotten anything that they've really been able to do today.
Well, you go back to all those statistics that we showed you at the beginning of the game. This is Warwick Dunn. He'll get the first down. And the one that the Buccaneers have never won a game when the temperature is below 40 degrees, and they still are in that same position. They took this guy out of the game just about. Mike Allstott.
Yeah, and they did that when they got ahead, and then they had a pass, and then they weren't able to do that.
Here's Dilfer. Incomplete.
Ooh,
Thomas, the intended receiver, Doug Evans right with him.
Eugene Robinson is lucky that they didn't call a penalty on that. I don't know that he meant to hit him, but he got in there and hit Rob Thomas awfully late. I think he's talking there that he really didn't mean to. He just couldn't stop himself, but he did it.
You get to a point when a team beats you 3 times in a year, or you get in that situation where you'd never won a game when the temperature is less than 40. Can we do it?
Yeah,
you get to get doubts in your head.
And the other thing is Green Bay has never in the history of the franchise ever lost a playoff game here.
Right. Copeland.
But I think what that does, I think that gives Tony Dungy something to build on. To say we aren't as good as the Green Bay Packers, but that's where we have to go.
(21-7) Green Bay. You were talking about Ron Wolf a minute ago. That's Richie McKay, John McKay's son, the first coach of the Buccaneers, and he's done a heck of a job as their general manager building this team.
Yeah, building this team, bringing Tony Dungy in there, that group working together, and they're all young. I mean, it's a young organization and an organization that is on the right road.
Dilfer deep for Rob Thomas. Incomplete. Intercepted by Mike Pryor.
Well, that's that 3-3 dime we talk about. 3 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, 6 defensive backs. That's when Pryor's in there. Pryor's just sitting there as a safety waiting for it. And he got it, and all the Packers have to do now is run out the clock and start thinking about the San Francisco 49ers.
I was talking to Richie McKay before the game, and he said, I think we got a chance to win this game if it's an ugly game. But any game where Brett Favre's involved is not going to be an ugly game. It's going to be a fun game.
No, and Brett Favre is a factor. I mean, those are the things. In fact, we talked about that in the pregame show, that you can have game plans and you can have schemes, and then he starts to run around and he breaks down all your plans and all your schemes because you can't practice against the things that he can do to you. Although the 49ers are going to start this afternoon trying.
He just kneels. The Bucs are out of timeouts. And that's about all that Brett Favre needs to do.
And this is big for Mike Holmgren. That, he's going back to San Francisco where he grew up, where he went to high school in San Francisco, where he was an assistant coach with the 49ers. And, that has to give you some chills to take your team back into your hometown and play a championship game, knowing that if you win that, you get to go to your 2nd Super Bowl in a row.
What a great guy he is. Mike Holmgren.
And he's a great coach.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows what it takes. He knows how to treat players. He knows how to, handle a football team. He knows how to coach a quarterback. All the difference that he's made in Brett Favre.
He and Steve Mariucci,
right,
who they'll see next week.
I know it. And they'll be paired against each other. And these fans are going to go crazy now as this game is over, because they know that this is the last time that they're going to see their team in person. This year, that they could have 2 more games, but both of them will be away. One in San Francisco, and if they win there, the Super Bowl, of course, in San Diego.
This season, not this year.
No, that's right. This season.
21-7. The Packers still have not lost a playoff game here.
And I don't think any of these fans have left, Pat. I mean, they're enjoying this moment, knowing that this is it for this season, the last time they're going to see him in person, and they're going to enjoy it. They're going to sit in these seats, and they're going to love every moment of this.
The play of the game coming up is brought to you by Energizer. Dorsey Levens, another big day.
Especially another big second half.
Yep.
The Packers kind of wore them down in the second half, and Dorsey Levens wore them down and started running around some tacklers and running through the rest of them.
And right now, let's quickly send you down with Ron Pitts.
All right, thank you very much, Pat. Coach, you didn't start off playing the kind of football I know you want to play here, but it ended up okay. You got the win. You're headed to the NFC Championship game.
That's very exciting, Ronnie. I couldn't be prouder of my team and my coaching staff. I'll tell you, in the first half, we were playing like we were at the playground, though. So, hey, give Tony Dungy credit and the entire Tampa Bay Buccaneer organization. They remind me a little of us a couple years ago coming up, and they're a great football team. It was a good game today.
You're going to see an old friend next week, Steve Mariucci. Are you playing good enough right now to go out there and beat the 49ers?
Oh, you know what? That's what you play the games for. It's not going to be easy. It's never easy. But we're all looking forward to the game, and we're going to enjoy this one and roll up our sleeves and get to work and look forward to it.
All right, Coach. Good luck to you next week.
Ron.
Thank you very much. Back up to you, Pat.
All right, Ron, thank you. The final score here at Lambeau Field is Green Bay 21, Tampa Bay 7. Coming up on the NASDAQ postgame report, we'll have highlights and interviews from Green Bay. Also, our Fox Sports ticker will have up to the second postseason stats. That's all next on the NASDAQ postgame report.
Very potent Green Bay Packers run game powered them to the victory 21-7 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Next week it'll be the Green Bay Packers taking on the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Division Championship. And welcome here to the NASDAQ postgame along with Ronnie Lott, Howie Long, Terry Bradshaw. I'm yours truly, James Brown. Brett Favre, we talked with him yesterday. He was a very confident quarterback coming into today's game, and with good reason. And right now he's standing by having talked with our Ronnie Pitts just moments ago.
All right, thanks a lot. Brett Favre, you're headed to the NFC Championship game. This one started off a little rough, but you got the win.
Well, we played them 4 or 5 weeks ago, and I did this same interview, and I said they were a great football team. I still believe it, and it was a dog fight. I told Coach Dungy before the game that it was going to be close all the way through, and it was. They're a great football team. They need to be proud of themselves. We just capitalized when we had the chance. We made some plays.
Hey, you and Warren Sapp, look like you guys were having a little fun out there.
Well, we were. I tell you, we're both great competitors. He's a heck of a football player, and I love playing against him. He has a lot of heart, and I tell you, he was everything we thought he was going to be today.
Third MVP. You're heading down that road for the second Super Bowl. How much does that mean to you?
Well, it means a lot. This is what you play this game for, is to win Super Bowls, not MVPs. Yeah. And I tell you, our team's accomplished a lot this year, and so has San Francisco. So we'll go out there and see what happens. There's 2 great football teams that play next week.
Quickly today, what do you think the turning point was coming out in the second half? I know you guys wanted to get things jump-started right away.
Well, I think the second half, when we came out, we moved the ball the way we did. That definitely was the difference.
I got to dog you right now, man. What is your vertical leap?
Not very good. I don't even know what I was trying to do. I was just so excited. I was just having a little fun.
I love you, brother. We got to work on that together in off-season.
All right, Ron.
Good luck to you next week. All right, back up to you guys.
Well, that's about the only thing he has to work on, Ronnie Pitts. Brett Favre now 23-0 when the temperature is 35 degrees or lower. Let's come back around to my guys and talk about what you thought Green Bay did.
Well, you're right there. The vertical leap, all the imaginative moves that you can have at the quarterback spot. I played with a guy like that, Joe Montana, and he can come up with great plays, and that's what Brett Favre has been able to do.
We've been covering the Green Bay Packers for 4 years now. Brett Favre's won 3 MVPs in that time. The biggest compliment I could pay this guy, Terry, he has not changed a bit. No. Enthusiasm or as a person.
Yeah, it's nice to see that. I thought really the key to the game, Tony Dungy, Tampa Bay wanted to keep it to one-dimensional, Favre throwing the football, but it was Dorsey Levens in the running game in the second half.
Packers in the playoffs at home now, 12-0. Impressive record indeed. All right, folks, next week it'll be the NFC Championship game that'll come your way at San Francisco, the Packers and the 49ers. When we come back, we'll have a conversation with the head man of the 49ers, Steve Mariucci, talk about what his guys are planning to try and upend the Packers.
In October, and we were down 18 points at halftime and came in and had a chance to win it. So we just wanted to stay with our game plan, and we had to tighten up the middle of our pass defense a little bit, and we did that, and got a chance to get back in it.
Personally, what do you think you've learned the most from coming up here and playing in this type of game? I mean, this is a big game for your team, relatively young team with not a whole lot of playoff experience.
Well, we've been up here twice, and we just haven't quite been able to get the job done, and we've got to get a little more scoring punch and find out a way to score some points against these guys, but they got a great defense.
All right. Thank you very much, Coach. Good luck to you next year.
Okay.
All right, appreciate it. Back up to you guys.
All right, Ronnie, well, the Buccaneers came in here 2 touchdown underdogs, and that's exactly what they lost by to the Green Bay Packers. We'll come back field side and wrap up with some more thoughts after this.
Pittsburgh, San Francisco, Dallas. These are the franchises which have won back-to-back Super Bowls. These Green Bay Packers have a chance to accomplish just that. They started their playoff mission, where they love to play, where they've won 26 straight at home, against the team. If the Packers were America's story last year, this year's story for America were the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bay of Pigs NFC Norris matchup on the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field, where, of course, Tony Dungy figuring, hey, I'll oblige the Packer fans and maybe we can win a cold weather game. Reggie says this is our house. We haven't lost in September of '95 here at home. And, of course, the crowd ready for win number 27 in a row. Early on, Michael Cama, Husted, no hablo. It's blocked by Bob Kapersky. Hank Finkel with the rebound, Tom.
Yeah, Kapersky does a great job of going right over the long snapper, Dave Moore, getting a hand up, even as he's falling. Right there, making a great block of the kick.
The Packers take advantage. Second possession, Brett Favre to Chewy Baca. Mark Chmura, 17 yards. Then, look at him buy time to Favre. As Tampa really did a good job rushing him, but Antonio Freeman, boom, hit by Charles Mincy, but it's 26 yards. Then, 3rd and 9, Favre, kind of a wild card receiver, Derrick Mays, Joe, from a Golden Dome.
This is the first thing they teach at the University of Notre Dame is how to catch the football. Keep your eye on it, keep your eye on it, cradle it in, try and make a play.
That sets up a 1st and goal where Favre, rolling right, he loves to throw to Mark Chmura. Touchdown, 3 yards, 7-0, pack. Second quarter, it's always an adventure, at least today, when Michael Husted lines up for a field goal. This time a fake. Steve Walsh. The shovel. We hate this play. Keith McKenzie snuffs it out. Tony Dungy gambling, figuring he needs points. He gambles and loses. Bucs defense holds. Dorsey Levens. Look at Warren Sapp. It's the strip and the catch. You know, this would have been a reception, Tom, because it never hit the ground.
Warren Sapp is a dominant player, a great job of working his way down the offensive line and then getting the ball out and making the recovery.
So, the Bucs try another field goal, but Dave Moore snapping because Pine was hurt over the head of Walsh. 3 field goal chances, or at least line up for him. No points for the Bucs. Meanwhile, play before the field goal, Frank Middleton pushes former Buck Santana Dotson. Santana says more than Oye como va, because watch this. After the bad snap, yuck. What is that, Tom?
Well, that's the way you get an offensive player's attention.
Well, and a flag. More Bucs defense. Warren Sapp forces the fumble. And the Packers are fortunate that Earl Dotson falls on the football. Afterwards, Favre, Sapp, where are you going to stay out in Hawaii as a member of the Pro Bowl team? Oh, I don't know, maybe Kauai, Maui. I don't think they were talking about that. Later, second quarter, Robert Brooks. Hey, They don't have Desmond Howard, but Brooks had a couple of big punt returns. Antonio Freeman had a kickoff return for a touchdown, called back by a penalty. So Brooks, the punt return. Next play, this is what he does best. Open for 21 yards down the middle, Joe, which is open all day.
You're so concerned about where Brett Favre is going to go protecting the outside. The middle of the football field remains open almost all the time.
Tempers flaring. Watch Chidi Ahanatu. He's cheating here. He steps on Adam Timmerman's head. Temper, we wonder if it was going to get out of hand. It did not. 3rd and goal, Favre rolls out. But this is like the bullet from the second baseman to the first baseman from about 2 feet away. William Henderson can't hold on. The Pack settle for a field goal. Bucks next possession. Trent Dilfer to Rob Thomas. It's off his hands, and Tyrone Williams intercepts it, and the Pack are in business, Joe.
You make a play on a ball. Rob Thomas trying to make a play low and outside. If the ball goes up in the middle of the football field, 9 out of 10 chances it's not going to be where you want it to be.
This play leads to another field goal. 13-0 Tampa, Green Bay at the half. Mike Holmgren said we didn't run at all in the first half. So we're going to come and establish it in the second half. Dorsey Levens breaking tackles repeatedly. 21 yards is the first series, 3rd quarter, after that kickoff return by Freeman was whistled back. Levens on 4th and 1 goes for 14 yards. Next play, Favre, even though they're running so well, they decide to go for the jugular and a mistake. Pass high. Actually, Johnny Abraham picks it off, but there was a reason it was high, Tom.
Yeah, John Lynch made a great play on the pass rush here. You see him get his right arm up, his left arm actually, and hit Favre in his throwing motion, and that caused the interception.
After the defensive play by Abraham, who's been a fine player all year, the Bucs show some life from his own end zone. Dilfer to Reed Del Anthony, the fly pattern, 52 yards into Packer territory. Then, 3rd down again. It's Dilfer having time to Dave Moore. 29 yards, again, it was 3rd down, and the Bucs are in business. Then, Mike Allstott. Big hole, big touchdown, and the Bucs are back in it. Allstott's folks made the trip. They watch him play every game. And on this drive, they had more than they had in the whole game. And, Tommy, what about the hole?
Well, watch Patrick Hape. He goes in motion, and Eugene Robinson, outstanding safety, takes a big blow.
Knocks him all the way back to
Hartford, Connecticut.
Special, but look at the extra point. Oh, man. I don't know how he even got that in there. Michael Husted, oh, man, was an adventure every time he got on the field. 13-7. 3rd and 6 for the Pack. Ensuing drive. Dorsey Levens. Watch this. Breaks a tackle. Spins a tackle. Luck at him pick up the 1st down. Later in the drive, 3rd and 18. Favre to Derrick Mays. Hey, Joe, do they teach you this there, too?
This is the second thing they teach at the University of Notre Dame. How to make an easy catch, look hard, on the ground, through the legs, over, around, behind the knee, reception. Wait, I'm not done yet. I can run with it.
And Sapp and Favre say, hey, we respect the way we're playing against each other. Let's keep going. Packers go back to the ground. Dorsey Levens. Watch this. He spins Melvin Johnson around on Quiz Street. Then Levens. I know I'm making Allstott type sounds here, but it was Levens that was imitating Mike Allstott. 2-yard touchdown run. Dorsey Levens. Packers rushing yards in the second half, almost 100 after being anemic in the first half. Pack up 19-7, go for 2. Quarterback draw. Favre makes the move on Nickerson, and white man don't dunk. But I guess not. Brett said later, hey, I was just having a good time. I was trying to make the move at 21-7. Dilfer upset. There'll be other times for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brett Favre and Tony Dungy congratulating each other after the game. A hard-fought game, well played by the Tampa Bay defense, but the Pack had too much at home. Levens ends up with 112 yards, and interestingly, that's a Packer playoff rushing record. Jim Taylor, 105. Paul Hornung, 105. Edgar Bennett, 108. So that's a Packer playoff rushing mark, and the Pack wins it 21-7. Afterwards, the Pack relieved.
I don't think tight. Maybe a little. There's a tad bit of rust there from not playing a game. You know, I don't know, but we were we were a little sloppy early.
Who would ever thought the Battle of the Bays would be what it is today? But they're a great football team. They're well coached. I have a lot of respect for Coach Dungy and their staff and their players. I told them towards the end of the game that, as I said earlier, that they have nothing to be ashamed of.
This is the end of the 97 road for us, but hopefully it's the beginning of something a little bit better, and I think that's the approach we're going to take.
I don't want to say this to degrade our football team, but
ultimately, I think the better football team won out eventually the way they had planned on, with their defense just stopping our offense. We couldn't score enough points to win the game.
Well, more on the Bucs in a moment, who can certainly hold their heads up because they played the Packers very, very tough. But we made the comment as soon as they came out running in the third quarter, Tom and Joe, that was missing in the first half. And Dorsey Levens, wow, the way they slammed the ball.
Well, and every run that Dorsey made, the yards that he got, he earned, because every time he was getting hit by 3 or 4 Buccaneers, he was bouncing off those tackles, he was making plays. I always talk about running the ball and rushing defenses. That's the success formula for success in the playoffs. They did that with Dorsey Levens, the Green Bay Packers, on offense, and on defense, Gilbert Brown stood his ground against the run game. When you watch Gilbert Brown, you don't see him moved often, but today he was able to scrape down the line of scrimmage. He was able to make plays. He was able to keep people in the backfield. Those things will make you successful in the playoffs, Joe.
Well, Gilbert Brown certainly, I think, was one part of the defense, Tommy. I think another part of that defense certainly was the presence of Leroy Brown. I felt like he really came out and made his presence known. And give, again, a lot of credit to Fritz Sherman, moving him around. Trent Dilfer was 11 for 36 today. All they did was keep on moving Leroy Butler around. They kept bringing him off the side. They kept bringing him on the outside. They dropped him back in the middle. He created problems just trying to find this one guy who continues to make plays for Green Bay.
Well, the Pack go on the road to play San Francisco. More about that in a moment. For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, what a marvelous season. Hey, their defense held the Packers under 300 yards. They forced 3 turnovers. They had 4 sacks, 3 of them, by the way, by Warren Sapp. Their defense played with poise. Tony Dungy and company are just building. Congratulations to them on a great year, and congrats on the Pack for a well-earned victory. Well, Trent Dilfer, he did not have a very good day. 11 of 36 for 200 yards and 2 picks. His games against the Packers this year, all of them losses. He completed barely over 40% combined. His only touchdown pass was unfortunate to Gabe Wilkins of the Packers earlier this year. Against everybody else, which is why he's going to the Pro Bowl, 22 TDs and almost 57% completions. Against the Pack, it didn't work.
Inside the Numbers is brought to you by Visa, the official card of the NFL. It's everywhere you want to be. www.visa.com.
When we return, the late game, some guys who have changed uniforms like Neil Smith in his old house at Arrowhead.